Hello everyone, this is Chloe from Cousin DIY. Today I'm going to show you something a little different. I'm going to show you how to make a bag using rope and a sewing machine. To give you an idea of what's possible, here is a bag that I made, a rather large beach bag that I made using this technique. I used different colors. I changed the thread out in the bobbin to add a little color on the side of the bag as I was adding the rows. Have handles, a colorful little tassel hanging off the handle, and then I glued Swarovski crystals on in the shape of an anchor as an accent. So today we're going to make a smaller version of a rope bag. I just wanted to show you what's possible. So I'm going to get my sewing machine set up and I'll be right back. Now that we have the sewing machine set up, let's get started. I have taken the wrapper off the rope. I cut the little piece of tape that holds the end of the rope together, keeps it from fraying. I cut that off. I'm going to fold this over about 1.5 inches. I have my sewing machine set on the zigzag stitch at the widest width of the zigzag. I'm going to put the fold end first on the machine under my needle, and I want to make sure that stays together. And I find it helpful, like I have this little ruler. I'm just going to, as I start stitching this first little section together, I want to just push it together. I'm using this as a tool to help that push that over. And I'm going to start stitching. I'm going to go backwards just a tad. The beginning is the hardest part because you really want that section to be together. Here we go. I want to make sure you're connecting both ends of rope together, and as we near the end, we're going to lift the needle, turn that rope around, and we're going to stitch. We're going to keep coiling and coiling around and around. I think I'll snip my thread tails right here. And we're going to do this for a length of time until we get to a length that we feel we want the base of our bag to be. I find it helps to go slow, especially when you start. When you go to turn a corner and you lift your pressure gauge up, make sure that your needle is in one side of the rope or the other as you turn that corner before you put that pressure gauge down till you get to where you're going to be going straight for a while. Now I'm nearing another corner, so I've got that needle in one side of the rope. I'm going to slightly rotate it, come over and grab that other one. I find it lifting the pressure arm and lowering it as you go around the corner, especially here in the beginning, really helps to make sure that you're catching both sides of rope as you're rounding that corner. This will get easier as the length of rope gets longer. Now I find I'm not having to lift that pressure. I'm not having to lift that pressure gauge. And sometimes if you find that you've missed the rope, the other side of the rope, just go backwards. And when we're done with the bottom, when we're going to be changing the thread color and the bobbin color, and at that point I'll be going back and I'll be restitching any areas of rope that failed to get attached. Right there. So let's go backwards again. I'm going to keep going until I get to a size that I think I want the base of my bag to be. Then at that point, I'll show you what to do. I think I have the bottom about the size I want it. So at this point, I am going to, I'm just going to reverse my stitch a few stitches back, and I'm going to take this out. So as you can see, we have what looks like a little coiled placemat. Now at this point, I want to check to see if there's any spots where I didn't catch both sides of the rope, and I see one here. So I'm going to go back through, and I see another one right near the beginning. So I'm going to put this back in my machine, and I'm going to catch those and sew those together before we start building the sides. There, I think I've got them all, found all the areas that needed reinforcing. Now at this point, we're going to change thread colors. So we'll take a break, and I'm going to load in a different color thread and a different color bobbin. We'll be right back. Now that I've loaded a new color of bobbin and thread, I'm using a lime green. I'm going to take the bottom. I'm going to position it at as close to a 90-degree angle as I can to start building the sides to come up. This is a little bit of a tricky part, especially the first couple of rows, so be patient. We're going to go back a little bit prior to where we locked in the end of our first thread. All the time we're going to be trying to bend this up as close to a 90-degree angle as we can. Once again, I'm going to back up a little bit to lock that thread in. I'm just going to move this a tiny little bit to make sure I'm catching both sides. There we go. So once you add color, your stitches become a little more noticeable. So you're going to want to try to be a little more careful that you're connecting both sides together. But if you don't worry about it, because we're still going to be able to go back and fix those areas where you might not have caught both sides of rope. You can see I'm kind of bending this rope a little bit to try to help with that, create that turn in the rope to start creating the edge, that angle. And as you can see, I'm starting to create a little bit of an edge here. We'll continue around for about 8 rows or so with this color, and we'll see if we think that's enough before we add our next color, or if we want to go a couple rows further. Okay, I think that's about as far as I want to go with my lime green. So I'm going to do reverse. Then I'm going to take the bag off. You can start to get an idea of how it's shaping up nicely. And then I'm just going to go back through, and if there's any areas where I did not catch both sides, this is the time for me to go back in. And I see one area there. I've got one. I think that's it. So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to make sure. It's so much easier to do it now than when your bag gets taller and longer, because it'll be difficult to get down to the spot where you need to stitch. Okay, let me just double check, go all the way around. Oh, I see one more spot right here. One more spot right there. Right there. Okay, now I'm going to switch colors of my thread and my bobbin, and we'll be right back. Now that I've changed the thread and the bobbin color to this bright yellow, we'll put the basket back under the needle and we'll proceed. I'm going to do a couple stitches forward and a couple stitches back just to lock that thread in. I made approximately 10 rows using the green thread. I'm going to keep on until I've completed 10 rows with the yellow thread. I've completed around 10 rows with the yellow. So I'm going to back stitch and reverse a few stitches to lock that stitch in. I'm going to take it out. And once again, I'm going to check to see if there's any spots where I didn't connect the rope together. But it looks really good. I don't think it looks like I didn't miss any. So now I'm going to change back to the white or neutral colored thread. This is our progress so far. I have the white thread loaded back in the machine. Put our bag back up under the needle. Once again, we're going to do a couple stitches, reverse a couple stitches to lock it. And I don't know, this is going to be a little bit of a higher bag the way it's turning out. So I'll probably do around 7 or 8 rows, and then we'll start building the handles. So I'm just going to keep sewing the rope together for now. So at this point, I'm going to reverse and lock in our stitch. And we're going to take the bag out of the sewing machine. So we're going to determine where we want our handles placed in the bag, how far we want them from each end, and then how long we want them will determine. So the way I do that is you pinch both sides together. And I'm going to take my ruler. And I think we want our, I'm going to grab some pens here. I think I want the handles to approximately begin and end here and there. So I'm going to measure. As you can see, I've left my tail right here, and for now, past where our handle will be on that side. Okay, so that I want to measure in about, if I did 4 inches on that side. Okay, let's do 3.5 inches on each side. So I'm going to take a pin and I'm just going to mark. Oops, got to get beyond there. Okay, about 3.5 inches would be here. And there on that side, flip it around. And measure in approximately 3.5 inches. On the other side. So at this point, oh, and I found a spot where I didn't catch the rope on both sides, so this is my chance to stitch that together. We'll do that quickly. Then I'm going to continue stitching these ropes together until I get to this pin. Then I'm going to reinforce it. Then I'm going to slack off some rope, determine how high I want my handle. Then I'll start restitching it over on this side. I think I'll take this out of the machine again so I can show you. Okay, at this point I can remove that pin. Now we're going to try to determine how large do we? I think I like the looks of that right there. So I'm going to pin this right around there. Put it back in the machine. This is where it can get interesting. There we go. Again, I'm going to use my little metal ruler to push those ropes together. Take it out. Then we're going to match measure that handle so it matches the one on the other side as close as possible. This can be tricky. Okay, I want this right. No, I need that a little bit. A little bit longer. Now I'm going to take it down. I know I'm off camera, but I'm going to pin that best I can to try to match up the beginning of the handle on the other side. As close as I can, then I'm going to double check. Okay. Put it back. We can take that pin out now. We'll keep sewing. When we reach the handle, the beginning of the handle on the other side, I want my handle to be double rope. So I'm just going to sew 2 ropes together across the handle on both sides. Okay, now I'm ready to finish off the top of the bag. I'm going to get fairly close to the beginning of the handle on the other side. I'm going to pick a spot. I'm going to cut my rope. I'm going to slightly coil the end under, and I'm going to reinforce and catch that to end off the top edge of the bag. And I find that it helps if you cut the rope slightly on an angle. It helps to tuck that end in. So here goes. As you can see, I cut that on an angle. Now I'm going to take it out and see what we have to do to fine-tune this. You can see it's still a little bit raggedy. It needs a little more attention. So I'm going to, with the help of a pin, I'm going to push that down. It's also important, if you've got any raw edge at all, you don't want that to show on the front of your bag. You want that to be more on the inside edge of your bag. is one of the trickiest parts. It doesn't look too bad. You can see you've got a little bit of a curl. There's no other way to really finish that rope off that I know of. Now I'm going to go through and I'm just going to snip off any more thread tails that I find. We've got our handles, nice little short handles, and I see this as having multiple uses. I can see it on your countertop, filled with fruit, lemons, limes. We're not totally done yet. This is just the first step, the bag itself. We're going to make a tassel to attach to one side of the handles to make it a little more decorative. And then we're going to put a little patch on the side. Give me a minute to put my sewing machine away and we'll be back. The next step is to build a tassel that will hang off one of our handles. So I have cut a length of rope approximately 16 inches, and I am going to use a lark's head knot. So what you do is you fold it in half. You take the fold and you put it around the back of the handle and pull both ends together down through the front. And I want mine right here, so I'm going to keep working it till it's nice and snug on that side of the handle. And next I'm going to take some floss, lime green and yellow, and I'm going to open the skeins, trying to keep, I'm going to use a pencil here, trying to keep find the middle. As best as I can, find the middle. What is up with this one right here? Oh, there we go. Find the middle and open it. This will help hopefully prevent tangling when we start working with it. We're going to do the same with the yellow skein. These are the colors that I chose just to coordinate with the thread colors I used. As you can see, these colors are quite subtle on the bag, but tying these onto this rope tassel is really going to pull that color, make them pop out of the side of the bag. So there. So the first step, again, is to get that knotted onto this handle so that you're happy with it. And the next step is going to be to we're going to want to try not to, the best we can, because this does tend to tangle. Start joining these two colors together. Like this. We're going to fold one end of this cord. And for this purpose, we're going to have the fold side down. So the fold will be down here. I'm going to hold that with my finger, with my thumb up here. We want the tail up above a little bit right here. And we're going to start wrapping this cord round and round, both sides of rope, leaving those tails up there. We're going to wrap, wrap, wrap multiple times. And this is going to anchor this knotted rope onto the handle. Wrap, wrap, wrap. I'll try to keep this facing you so you can see it as I work on it. There. Keep wrapping your joint cord. Okay, so at this point, I'll do one more for good measure. At this point, I want to find the middle of that loop right there. I'm going to cut the joint cords right around here. And I'm going to put those cords up through the back side of that loop. Like that. And then we're going to take the joined tail on the starting side and we're going to pull that. It's going to anchor that knot in the middle. As such, and then we're going to cut the joined ends on both sides as close as we can. And the next step is I'm going to take, about this far down. I'm going to do the same thing on each individual rope. I want to fray the end of the rope. I'm going to cut this just a little bit shorter here and here. And then I'm going to start fraying the cords that wrap around the core of the clothesline rope. So we have a nice fray, and then I'm going to put those frayed cords back and I'm going to cut the core. So all we see are the frayed ends. Do the same on the other one. There we go, our rope tassel is complete. And the last step is I'm going to stick this adorable little Swarovski sticker, pineapple sticker, on to this side of the bag, lined up. Let's see, do I want it lined up? Yeah, I think I want it lined up underneath that handle. So we'll open the package. We'll take the sticker off from its backing. And figure out exactly where we want it positioned, which I think is right around here. Press it on nice and tight. That's so cute. I love it. And our little bag is finished. There's so many things you can use this for. I could think of using it for hand towels in your bathroom, washcloths in your bathroom. I do a lot of that in my bathrooms at home. I roll them up for guests or myself, and you could use them on your countertop in the kitchen for utensils. You could use it for K-cups, coffee storage. Possibilities are endless. And if your bag is bigger, like the first one we made, that I made prior to this, this could hold towels, blankets. It could be a beach bag. It's got so many uses. The possibilities are endless. So if you decide to make a rope bag, please share it with us on Instagram at #CreateWithCousin. We'd love to see your creations. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you learned something, and we can't wait to see what you make. Bye.